三 K。尊敬的委员。
Thank you, distinguished President Dr. Wang, Dr. Hu. I'm very glad to see that just now the three operators in China, three giant, have talked about the 5G millimeter wave as well as the opportunities and challenges. Actually, I've been working in millimeter wave for almost 10 years and started with R&D. And since last year, I was responsible for the products. And later, I will also talk about our progress made by Huawei in terms of the millimeter wave. And my topic is building industry together and sell millimeter wave to new horizon. And we talk a lot about the benefits of millimeter wave, and let's further check it. And we talk about the experience about the wide bandwidth, and it can be actually 7G or even higher in a wide bandwidth, and also it's low in latency. In the future, we can actually have made it to 1 ms low latency. And third one is about high integration, and it actually help with the centimeter level or micrometer levels precise positioning. And in my opinion, I think that for millimeter wave, this is already a wireless communication in a wide range already. And since yesterday, MIIT, in their planning, they had on one hand 60, but in the document there are 3 parts, and they also decided to point 75G, 40G, and 70G. These 3 bandwidths, and this will be assigned for the wireless communication usage to China. And during the development, actually, we see that interference is a big problem. But for millimeter wave, because it's a short wave, and it's actually easily get blocked. And some people think that if it's blocked by a human body or by a tree, it will not penetrate. But how can we have less interference? We need to have a narrower bed, and maybe in the future, in the neighborhood, we will have a more beam and narrower beam. Because with the bandwidth in the future, no matter for the stations or the large range, it's easily to get a total land bandwidth of over 17 GHz. And because it's a short wave, it have small requirements towards the area of the antenna. So in the future, for 700 to 800 mega, the antenna may be 2 meters. But for millimeter wave, it takes a very small device to make deployment of a large area. And just now we talk about the a large upward, because there is more upward bandwidth. If we are dominantly upward, this will be a very fast upward experience. And this is just one aspect. And also, I'd like to share with you some of the progress we've made in the 3 scenarios related to millimeter wave. The first one is about the frequency deployment. Now we've already have a footprint and coverage in 20 plus regions with the millimeter wave spectrum released. And we can see that 80% over of operators have bandwidth over 400 MHz. And this will be optimal experience in the future. There will be more bandwidth assigned to the operators. And when we look at this deployment, over 20 operators already have commercial deployment. And we can see it's dominated by FWB business, FWA to B and to B business, but also there are some other deployment. And in terms of the standard, In the really early stage, we've already have devices put into commercial practice with the optimization of a protocol, and now we've already have the capability of FWA and EMBB ready, and some audience mentioned about the collaboration of low frequency to high frequency. It can actually already become a mature technology, and in the future, it can actually also be extended to the other scenarios. And for 5G-A, 5G-A stage, we will work on the intelligent beam management. So how we have too many beams, so how to make sure we can optimize the performance, and including the uplink coverage enhancement as well as base station energy saving. These need to be further optimized. And also, people pay attention to the terminals. And for the terminals, the mainstream operators or manufacturers, they have really comprehensive device like the chips, for example, Qualcomm, MediaTek, Samsung. They have the main chip vendors provide 5G millimeter wave solution. And in overseas countries, there are already 50 smartphones support millimeter wave, over 40 plus CPE, and 10 plus industrial modules device supported. Now I'd like to give you introduction about the situation of FWA, and because it's millimeter wave have a less coverage and in lower cost, actually, in this is a really good performance, and this is a case we work with operator in Asia Pacific. This is a commercial scenario. We can see that with the ERP base station of Huawei plus working with the partners, we try to explore the CPE to have the launch of FRW, and normally the neighborhood are at several kms, and with 5 km, the downlink can be reaching 4 Gbps, and with 1 to 4 km, this range will be 4 times, and we hope that for the ROI, we can actually help the customer to lower down the cost. And we are trying to work with our partner to decide what kind of CPE to be used in what location and to reduce the cost. For example, this CPE deployment can provide a GPPS experience in the long distance. We use the CPE innovative module to support a faster speed in wide coverage. So this is about a operator with only 200 M bandwidth, and we can see this customer, they have 30 to 60 users. When they cover 30 to 60 users, the single user's bandwidth can be over 800 megawatt. So if it's actually mostly 2 to 300 Mbps. And so it's really a good speed and a very low cost. In rural areas, actually, this will be a very optimal solution. And the second one is about some exploration into B side. Because this part, we also work with operator as well as content provider. And for example, in this conference room, if there is a live stream, what will it look like? So this is a really typical use case. And it's like, for example, NBA game. And it's actually a scenario. They have a 5 or 4 key camera to do the one CPE supports multi-channel 4K panoramic uplink live cast. And this is actually with the 4K, we can see that with CPE, we have the uplink of over 600 Mbps speed. It's really also very stable. And when we talk about millimeter wave coverage, some people may doubt whether to see mmWave to see commercial capabilities is okay or not. And we are trying to work more on the 2C side to try to make more innovations deliver result, because we have higher spectrum in frequency in the future, no matter it's 5G, 6G. This will be definitely an essential part of us. And for ELAA, its feature is to improve the antenna gain, expands the coverage, and we have the larger antenna area, the higher gain. And here we can see that it will bring more beams. And what's the challenge? The challenge is which one you need to select. You need to select the right one. And also in the 2B side or the one we just mentioned, the base station are really fixed. They don't move. So it's like it's remain unchanged. If you move very fast, it means that the wave needs to follow you. So then it leads us to a question how to have a seamless switch during the process. And to give you a brief introduction, because the spectrum of being released in Hong Kong for 2 years, and when we use the already exist mobile phone market to do the commercial delivery. This is a case in Tongluo one, because now it's actually with the distance of 100-200 meters of the base station. And within this range, we do the test no matter in the street or small alleys, or if you go to the stores with glass walls. And we can see use your mobile phone, it's like a capability of 1.1 G capability, and millimeter wave with the edge it can be over 400 Mbps, and in some cases it can be doubled. And this is a test within the car with all the penetration loss. This is a test result we get at a running speed of 3 km/h. So to conclude, and just now lots of colleagues already mentioned how to find more scenario and use case for millimeter wave. Actually, there are 3 aspects for FWA. Millimeter wave FWA has realized a fiber-like experience. Rich terminal types support differentiated deployment requirements. In the future, the cost per line will continue to reduce, and thus we can accelerate operators' business success. And for 2B side, China's 2B side is taking the lead, and we hope we can cooperate with the industry to explore millimeter wave application opportunities and place a unique value of millimeter wave. And the mmWave commercial capability of continuous coverage is initially ready. We need to continuously innovate and cooperate in technology and industry. This can place the value of mmWave in more countries, regions, and scenarios. That's all from my side. Thank you.